LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion. If you want points, defending, rebounding, passing, playmaking, he's got it. There's no weakness in the man's game. He's proven it at highest level for 17 years now. And for me, there's no debate anymore. LeBron James is the greatest NBA player of all time.
Look, I'm going to have to disagree here. He is a great player. He is one of the greats, but I don't think you could argue that he is the greatest player of all time. There are other players who edge him on stats. There's other players who edge him on championships. There's other players who edge him on finals appearances. And it's very hard to argue about LeBron being the greatest player of all time when you consider the fact that, there are players like Jordan out there who changed the game. There's players like Kobe out there who have had, an enormous cultural impact. And I don't think LeBron has had like that kind of cultural impact. And for me, greatness isn't just about, I can average a triple-double. Because you look at someone like Luka Doncic right now, he's averaging a triple-double in his second year. So it's not all about stats. Then you can talk about finals appearances. Bill Russell, one of the greatest leaders in sports, led the Boston Celtics to 12 NBA finals and won 11 of them. So why isn't he argued as one of the GOATs? And he averaged 25 rebounds throughout those finals campaigns. So he has the stats to back him as well.
He's not the GOAT. The GOAT changes the game. And he has not done that. I mean, you look at his stats, they're good. Fair enough. But you look at, Kareem, right? He's got a higher offensive rating, a higher defensive rating, more chips than LeBron, a better win percentage in the finals. So, I mean, why isn't he regarded as the GOAT? So, I mean, that's why I don't think he's the GOAT. I mean, he's very fake. I mean, you've seen it in the media. You see the stuff he's done with his teammates at the Lakers when he's like, when he was mic'd up and he's like, oh, when your teammates fall down, just stay down and we'll pick you up, man. And then
let's roll that clip.
We got you. Anytime you fall, anytime y'all fall, stay down. Your brother come pick you up.
During the regular season, as Kuzma goes in, throws a wild pass and throws it away.
He just wants the attention from the media. Like, you can, even when the finals thing happened, when they got indoctrinated or whatever, he just sat on the ground looking for attention. Right after the game, he walks out and he's like, job's not finished. Just full copying, like, the Kobe line. So, you know what, like, he needs to find his own niche. His own Instagram title is King James. I mean, you can tell he thinks he's the greatest because he calls himself King James. Like, who does that? Who's got that big of an ego to call themselves the king?
Who does that? Who does that? The chosen one does that. LeBron James is the chosen one.
Yeah, mate.
Came into the league with all the expectation of the world. Everyone doubting that this kid can be that good, coming straight out of high school. And he exceeded expectations. He's made 9 of the last 10 finals, which is just unheard of.
How many has he won, though?
He's won 4.
Yeah, but like, how many has he won?
I mean,
out of what, 10? Yeah, easy.
Yeah, which is better than winning 6 and then not making another 4, which MJ did. LeBron's got to more finals. He's been better throughout more seasons, more consistently, at a higher level, or maybe not higher level. That is up for debate because Jordan's prime is, without a doubt, the greatest stretch of basketball, I suppose. Those 2 three-peats. But LeBron's just done it for longer. He's the most consistent player. He's been the most valuable player in this league for now close to 14 years. And just that level of consistency has not seen before. It's unparalleled. You've got 16-time All-Star, 13-time first team, 4-time MVP, 5-time All NBA defensive team, which of course, if you're in the GOAT discussion, all these players have similar records. So how do you separate, the top of the top? And for me, you just look at the 2016 NBA Finals, when LeBron James returned home to the Cavs, facing the 73-9 Warriors, down 3-1, 41 points in back-to-back games in Game 5 and 6, and then sealed it off with a victory in Golden State's home arena in Game 7. LeBron James solidified himself as the GOAT in my eyes in that series.
But he lost to the Dallas Mavericks a few years earlier with, a better team than he had with the Cavaliers.
Look, they're all fair points, Mike, but I think you're missing the key point, which is the greatest basketball player of all time. As an all-around player, LeBron is the best. His scoring is a major point of offense, but then playmaking as well is usually, you need your point guard to do that, which LeBron can do himself. His passing, it's similar to the likes of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. It's incredible, his court vision. We've seen there's full court passes that he throws, his strength. And, obviously his turnover rate is a bit higher than those two players I just previously mentioned. But that's because the ball is running through him pretty much every offensive play. For the most part, he's been a super humble and respectful guy in the community. No off-field dramas. There's no big locker room blow-ups or gambling problems.
Don't ever reference Michael Jordan's gambling as a problem ever again, alright?
For me, it's more as a role model perspective. LeBron James is, other than the decision, he is pretty much what you'd want your child to grow up to become. Mate,
his son's smoking weed, mate.
Sorry?
You calling him a role model? So you want your son to smoke weed? Is that what you're saying?
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
What Liam was saying, I definitely agree with. LeBron, once he does leave teams, they do get significantly worse, right? We saw it with the Cavs the first time around. We saw it with the Heat. When he left the Heat, I think they were 10th in the Eastern Conference, and then he left the Cavs again. They were in the bottom of the Eastern Conference. But you have to consider one important thing. You have to build a very specific team around LeBron. You can't win with just anyone around LeBron. And we saw that in his first year with the Lakers. Lonzo, Ball, Ingram, they just did not fit with LeBron. So because of the way you have to build a team around LeBron, once he is out of the equation, they get significantly worse. He puts a lot of 3-and-D pieces around him, and because of that, when he leaves, of course they're going to be worse. They don't have a shot creator anymore. And even if they do bring in a shot creator, they rarely have the cap space to bring in one who can even be close to LeBron. So, yeah, the teams get significantly worse, but you have to take a look at the full picture here. So I don't think that can be a complete argument as to LeBron, having the full effect of, okay, he leaves and the team is horrible. It's he leaves, the team that is built for him, and then he is out of the equation, so the team built for him doesn't have that, gravitational guy in the middle to pull in all the defense, and therefore they get bad. However way you cut it, I don't think LeBron fits any one mold. He is definitely in my top 3 of all time, even top 2, but I just don't see him being the cut and dried greatest player of all time like a lot of these LeBron fanboys are arguing that he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, if you look at a player's stats, you can argue that Bill Russell's better than him because he's got, more rebounds, more blocks, more championships, and more MVPs than LeBron. So why isn't he the GOAT?
Well, he's playing back in the 60s against one other team.
You could say that about a player coming up now, like a Luka Doncic. The competition LeBron played at the start of his career is a lot worse than the competition that he's playing now, right? Basketball players, just as time goes past, they are getting better and better. Kids are attending basketball camps from 10 years old. They are going to train every single day from, early ages. They're playing, AAU ball throughout their teens against the best competition, the most athletic competition. The world is becoming more international. So now it's no longer just the best players in America, it's the best players from the entire world going to the NBA. So you could easily argue someone in 5 years or so that, they're the greatest player of all time because they're playing the best competition.
Yeah, well, Mike, I do agree with you. It's hard to quantify stats, and each generation has a transcending talent. You go all the way back to the 60s where you got Russell and Wilt, and you got Hakeem, you got Bird and Magic in the 80s. You got Jordan, obviously dominated the 90s. You had Kobe and Duncan in the early 2000s. And now you've got LeBron, who's dominated this league for the past decade. The finals speaks for itself. Obviously, the losses to Dallas were, the loss to Dallas, is a pretty big asterisk on his record. But losing to the Spurs, there's no shame in that. They're one of the greatest teams of all time, and the same with the Golden State Warriors. So, looking at that LeBron finals record, you can definitely give him a pass mark on that for beating what he should have beaten, except for Dallas. When he averaged 36, 13, and 9 in the finals in 2015, Iggy won Finals MVP for slowing down LeBron, which is absurd. But just to finish, I'll say But he's not like MJ. He's not Magic. He's not Bird. He's not Wilt, not Russell, not Kobe. He's the most valuable, most complete, and all-around basketball player to ever play in the league. Hey guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. Really appreciate your time and listening to our opinions. Whether you agree or disagree with us, please drop a comment down below. Let us know, because I know personally I'm always happy to engage in a bit of conversation, a bit of debate, as long as, you know, keep it PG, but not PG playoff mode. But we're just trying to learn and grow our channel. And talking to growing our channel, feel free to drop us a subscribe as well. Really help us grow and really get our name out there. Really appreciate it, guys.